Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and welcome to the BoxHard Podcast.
Hello, everyone. This is Mikey Garcia.
Yo, it's your boy, the odd guy himself, Malik King Scotty.
Hi, I'm Charlie Edwards.
This is Fast Eddie Chambers, and you're listening to the BoxHard Podcast with my main man, Joey Coastman.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 40 of the BoxHard Podcast, the Big 4-0. I'm your host, Joey Coastman. I'm joined, as always, by Ayaz Sumra. Ayaz, how you doing?
I'm good, Joey. How are you?
Very good, very good. Now, there's not too much to preview and review. There wasn't any boxing, well, too much boxing, I should say, on last week. And there's not too much to preview this week. We're going to start with a card that took place over in Jamaica. I think there was only one fight on the bill. It was a tournament called the Ray and Nephew Jamaican Contender Series. It was the final. Demarcus Chop Chop Corley managed to get the KO in round 7, so he's the champion of that contender little thing. I'm not sure if it's like a prize fighter type thing. It's gone on over a few months now. It's all kind of took place in 2016. I've never heard of the tournament, but all the best to DeMarcus Corley. He picks up his 47th professional win, and I think that win there might put him in the mix for another shot, at some kind of title, maybe not a world one, but some sort of decent regional title or something. That's it for Jamaica. We're now going to go over to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Top of the bill, Guillermo Jones. He picked up his 41st professional win out of 46 contests with a majority decision after 6 rounds. That's pretty interesting. That he fought a guy who had a record of 16 wins and 10 losses going into this fight with 1 draw. I thought he was going to really, dominate and probably knock the guy out, but I was wrong there. Amir Imam was also on the bill. He moved to 19-1 with a TKO in the 3rd round over Wilfredo Acuna. So that's a good win for Amir Imam. Also over in Pennsylvania, but not in the same arena, top of the bill, Jamel Herring. We'll be speaking to him very, very shortly. He's going to tell us about his fight, so I'm not going to get into it too much. But Herring was down in round 2, and he was TKO'd, or should I say the referee called it a halt, in round 10. He was going into that fight with a record of 15-0. Denis Shafikov was having his 40th professional fight. So a lot of experience difference. And I haven't really seen the fight. I've only seen a couple of clips. But Denis Shafikov managed to beat Jamel Herring and puts the first blemish on his record. It was a bit of an upset, I think. I mean, it was a bit of 50-50 for the guys that know boxing inside out. But Jamel Herring was there to win that fight, and he's come up short on the night. But he'll be talking about that in a couple of moments. Also on the bill, Patrick Szymanski. We had Wilkie Campfort on our show last week. He was taking on Patrick Szymanski. Well, Patrick Szymanski got the win, so I'm very sad for Wilkie Campfort. He was on the show last week talking about his loss to Jamal Charlo back in, I think it was November of 2015. And he's jumped straight back in with an undefeated prospect, and he's lost unanimously after 10 rounds. So I feel very sorry for him. He's a really, really, really nice guy. Anybody who listened last week will be able to tell you that. Patrick Szymanski nonetheless moves to 16-0. Wilkie Campfort now 21-3. I really hope he can get himself back together and come again. Now, that's it for the USA. There's only one bill to mention, or one fight, should I say, to mention, and then that will end the reviewing part. As I said, there's really not much to go over. Over in Germany on Sunday, it was a strange one. I hadn't seen it announced up until the last minute. Erkan Tepe took to the ring to face Derek Rossi. It was a bit of a weird one. It was scheduled for 10 rounds. Erkan Tepe beat Derek Rossi over 10 rounds unanimously. So Erkan Tepe now 16-0, and there's a lot of question marks over him, about all the allegations and the drug testing and what have you. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Derek Rossi, 30 wins and 12 losses, his record at the moment. Okay, that's it for the reviewing on this week's show. We're now going to welcome our first guest. Okay, now it's time for our first guest on this week's show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Jamel Herring. Jamel, welcome once again. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be back.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Now, we mentioned earlier in the show, the fight result, but we didn't get into detail on it simply because it wasn't shown in the UK. So I haven't actually seen the full fight. Could you walk us through the fight at all, Jamel?
I thought I was saying it was probably the most rugged and toughest fight that I've ever been. But it was I didn't come out with the victory, but it was a great learning experience in the end. And I'm pleased with the way how I carried myself after the fight. So I can't really complain.
Now, I'd like to ask you, I know that you had a few offers on the table before you accepted the Denis Shafikov fight. Obviously, Denis was a lot more experienced than you in the pro ranks. It was his 40th professional fight, and he'd only lost 2 fights, both to world champions. What made you take that particular fight, Jamel? And are you at liberty to say who the other offers were from?
What made me take that fight was it was a challenge, and I wanted to fight the best in the world. I actually, I could have took other offers. It really wasn't really strong names, so they wasn't recognized opponents. Before that, I was actually offered a fight with Javier Fortuna, but they turned that fight down. Just like a couple of other guys, they had turned me down as well. So I took was basically the best available offer on the table at the time, and it was Denis Shafikov. And I knew basically a victory over him with somebody with that pedigree would basically catapult me to the world title rankings, and that's why I took that fight.
Yeah, I understand that. Now, do you wish you took any of the other offers? I know that obviously looking back now, it's we're looking back in hindsight. I'm sure you would, but was there any doubt at all when you was accepting the Shafikov fight?
No, not really. I basically knew what I was getting myself into. I mean, I knew about his experience. I knew about well of his 2 losses, which were to like you pointed out, to world champions. But I always told myself that in the end, for my boxing career, I wanted to go out as basically one of the guys that fought everybody and and didn't basically run away from any challenges. And so I'm really not upset with my decision at all. And basically, I'm just going to learn from it, and of course I'm going to come back stronger. But I'm going to be better than I was in the past couple of days.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to get onto that in a moment. Now, on a more positive note, I know that you had a lot of nice good luck messages on Twitter from fans and other boxers. I'm sure that you're thankful for them. And although that you lost on the night, a lot of guys were saying that you showed tremendous heart and courage. Like I say, I haven't seen the full thing, but everybody's giving you credit. They're saying that, you showed a lot of heart and a lot of courage, and you was able to, go into deep water sort of thing and swim through it,
Yeah, and that's why that's mainly why I have no regrets in terms of taking the fight, because it basically showed where I'm at and where I can go further as a fighter down the line. I'm still in my prime, I'm still in good shape. The fight got ugly in there and bloody, but in the end, I didn't suffer any crazy damage or that would basically threaten my career. And like I said, I learned, that there are levels out there in this game, in the sport of boxing. But I'd rather have got, I learned that experience now than later on down the road. So, right now I'm going to just build off it. I'm going to continue to work hard. As you see, as you can hear from my voice, I'm in good spirits. I'm not, broken up, but and I don't want anybody to have any sympathy or sorrow for me. It's the fight game. Even the best that we know today have basically lost time, here and there. And I greatly appreciate all the support I have gotten, not only from my countrymen, but around the world as well.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear you say that, Jamel, because of course. You're right. It's better that it comes now while you're still learning the game, so to speak, rather than when you get to the top. For that to happen at that type of stage, it can be make or break, where I think from this, you can only take good things with you now to the future. How important is it that you've learned something in that fight and that you can now take that into future fights? You now, when you step in the ring now, you've got the confidence that you can go into deep water, into dark places during a fight, and you can deal with that.
Oh yeah, I mean it's very important, especially the fact that I lost to a guy that's basically considered one of the top 10 in the world. And I went
Without
toe
a
to toe
doubt.
with him throughout the year. I went. When you get a chance to fight, you see I went toe to toe with this guy throughout most of the fight, and I didn't want the fight to stop. I actually, crazy as it sounds, as the fight was going along, I was actually enjoying a good scrap, and that's just basically the Marine to me. And as the fight was going along, there was never a moment in my mind that I wanted to quit. If anything, I wanted to keep fighting fire with fire. Hopefully trying to break him down mentally. But he's a tough guy, both physically and mentally as well. And he showed me a lot of things in terms of what I could work on and what I can achieve down the road as a pro.
Yeah, of course. So what happens next for you now, Jamel? How are you feeling? And do you have any time off before you get back in the gym at all?
What's next? I'm expected to speak with Al Heyman very soon. We spoke after the fight. I was a little bit down, of course, because it was still, the feeling was new. It's my first.
It was still fresh, yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
Still fresh, and but I could speak with him. He was still very proud of me, and I even mentioned that I thought that I was going to be put on the back burner for a while, but he told me not to worry. That wasn't the case, and we plan on having a strong comeback. So with him being behind me, that says a lot. And right now, I'm just going to enjoy the summer, of course. Spend time with my family, heal up. Even though, like me personally, me being the fighter that I am, I feel like I can get back in the gym, this week. But like I said, my family needs me more, so I'm gonna take some time and spend time with my family. But you can basically expect to come back in sometime in the fall.
Yeah. I was going to ask you if you had any idea of the return. Okay, so that's good. That's good. It's good to take a little while off after something like that, spend time with the all important people, the family, and of course, when the time's right, get back in the ring. I wanted to ask you about a couple of other fights that are taking place in your division at the moment, Jamel. All of a sudden, Anthony Crolla from the UK, from my side of the water, he's just, catapulted himself to basically, the number one guy or the number two guy in the division at the moment. He's taking on Jorge Linares, who is probably seen as the number one guy. What do you think about that fight? I mean, a lot of people weren't really giving Crolla a chance against the likes of Barroso, the likes of Darlis Perez. He beat both of those guys. He kind of shocked everyone. Even over here, no one gave him a chance. And all of a sudden, we're now taking him very serious, but he's in there against Linares, who's no joke. How do you see that fight playing out, Jamel?
Let me just say, for starters, I believe a day before I fought, I had reached out to Anthony, and he showed me a lot of love in return. So you already know I got a great deal of respect for Anthony over there, and I've been following his career a lot closely lately, and I respect him as a fighter as well as a man outside the ring, and that's why I have a good spirit about myself, because when I actually look at things that he's been through in his career and like you pointed, look where he's at now. He suffered more than one defeat, but you can basically put him up there as the top three in this division. And that's just my personal opinion. You can put him easily in the top three of the division. And from this basically short period of time from his last two victories, a lot of people didn't give him a chance in his last fight. I personally did. I figured that he would pull it out because of his character and his will to win. But I'm very interested in this fight. And I honestly, I believe he can pull out another upset victory. And I have a great deal of respect for Jorge Linares, but it's just like one of those things. Like it's at a point in time where you just can't count Anthony out at all. And I wish him the best of luck. But just watching the many things that he's done with his career, it makes me strive to be the best that I can as well. So looking at guys like Anthony, Luke Campbell is another guy who suffered a defeat early in his career, but he's had a great backing behind him after everything. And it just, watching those guys from that side of the, over there on your side of the world just motivates me as well, that I can do great things as well on my end.
Yeah, Yeah, no, Anthony Crolla, he's been through a lot and he's definitely moving forward with a lot of momentum at the moment. The return of Luke Campbell, I think he's fighting on the 16th of July, if I'm not mistaken. So he'll be back. He's fighting quite a decent opponent. I can't remember who it is at the minute. What's your opinion on Terry Flanagan, of course, holding the WBO belt at lightweight?
It's crazy. If I would have got past this fight, I would have had loved to get a chance to fight with Terry Flanagan, which I had nothing against Terry either. Terry's not a bad fighter. I could say, his direction of his career isn't probably going as well as Anthony's, of course, in terms of exposure. And from what I last heard, I believe Mikey Garcia is approaching him, but can't take anything from him because basically he has something that I want. So he's a world champion. So I'll never I'll never down him or disrespect him as a fighter or a man. But I feel that he could basically, I feel that with his talent, he's able to at least fight better opponents than he's going up against next. But we may never know, man. Things may turn. He may get those fights that he wants. But like I said, I would still love to get a fight, with Terry down the road. But right now, I just got to focus on, what I'm doing and rebuild my career.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, just before I let you go, Jamel, I just wanted to give you a chance to thank anyone or give a shout out to anyone. There's a lot of guys over this side of the water, as I say, that are big fans of yourself. If you've got a message for anyone, just tell it to us.
Oh yeah, I would love to say thank you to all my supporters. I mean, like I said, I got a lot of supporters over in the UK, and I truly believe and I truly honestly want to come back to the UK someday to fight. That's why I was trying to get the victory as bad as I wanted, because really bad on my end, because I really wanted to travel to the UK, and I would have even challenged guys like Terry Flanagan over there. If Anthony pulled out a victory over this, if he does pull out a victory over Linares, I would love to even come over there, to challenge Anthony as well. But I just want to say not only thank you to my UK fans, but my fans across the globe. And I just want to give a great shout out to my brother Jake Gibson, who also lives in the UK. He's been a great support. And like I said, I appreciate guys like you as well who give me a chance to to let me be heard and expand my character, not only just here in the States but around on that side of the world as well. So I'm very grateful, and trust and believe I will be back. I will be back stronger and better. And the defeat is not going to bring me down. If anything, it'll just make me a stronger and smarter fighter.
Oh, excellent stuff, Jamel. I'm pleased to hear you say that. Listen, it's always a pleasure speaking with a gentleman such as yourself. Please take good care, and we'll be waiting for the return of a smarter, more experienced and more dangerous Jamel Herring.
Yes, sir. And like I said, hope we will. You and I will talk again soon. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you as well. But take care out there, and God bless.
Okay, now it's time for part 2 on this week's show. It was really nice speaking to Jamel Herring there. And like I say, really, really one of the best guys in the business. Before we roll into the reviewing, because there's really not much to review, before we roll into the reviewing, we're going to just go to that little segment on this show where we talk about the funny names. And we need to read out the result of the person from last week. The person from last week with the most crazy, bizarre name was a woman called Petra Superchamp, and she was facing Gretchen Abangul for the vacant Women's International Boxing Association World Minimum Weight title, and also the Global Boxing Union Female World Minimum Weight title. So I believe that's 2 world titles. And unfortunately, Petra Superchamp come up short. She was 6-0 going into this bout. She's now 6-1. And Gretchen Abangul moves to 17-8. It was a unanimous decision over 10 2-minute rounds. So all the best to Gretchen Abangul. I've got no clue about either of the women that took place in that fight, to be honest. I just really love that name, Petra Superchamp. And also, well, the contestant this week for that part of the show, there's, this week's most bizarre name is a guy. By the time this show goes out, the fight would have taken place. It's actually happening on the Monday, the 4th of July over in Moscow, Russia. There's actually a guy, Ayaz, and I'm really not kidding here. I think I've told you about him before, and it just so happens he's fighting this week. His name is 4-0. He's having a fight in the super welterweight division, so the 154 division, over 8 rounds against a guy who has a record of 3 wins, 7 losses and 2 draws. So this guy's 4-0, undefeated, and his name is Aram, so that's Aram, Aram, and his last name is Amir Khanyan. And I promise you, it is spelt exactly the way our very own Amir Khan spells his name. He is Amirkhanyan. So that's Aram Amir Khanyan. And apparently he's quite a decent boxer. So we'll be on the lookout to see how he gets on the Monday. Like I say, by the time the show goes out, the fight would have already taken place. But we will let you know next week on next week's show if Amir Khanyan can stretch his win streak. And maybe, you never know, he's in the 154 category. You might see him fight Amir Khan. Could you imagine that? Amir Khan against Amir Khanyan. It would be a real crazy one. But yeah, anyway, all the best to Amir Khanyan. Okay, that's it for that little segment there. We're now going to go over to Ayaz with the news. Ayaz, I believe you got 2 pieces of news regarding televised fights. They've been announced recently. So please tell us about those.
Yes. Sergey Kovalev will take on Isaac Chilemba this Monday on Box Nation.
Yes, absolutely. What a fight, Ayaz. What a fight. It's a strange one taking place on a Monday night. So that'll be next Monday. That's the 11th of July. So I'm going to be staying up for that one. Sorry, I'm not going to be staying up for that one. It's actually at prime time because it's over in Russia. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's over in Russia, and he takes on Isaac Chilemba. Now, we've seen Isaac Chilemba in there with the likes of Tony Bellew. We know that he's an awkward fighter, and we know how good Kovalev is, and I really think he's not really going to put up much of a test or whatever. I think he's a good fighter, Chilemba, maybe a bit better than what he's given credit for. He's coming off of a loss, though. He's coming off of a loss to Elida Alvarez, who's 18-0. That was in November of 2015. So he's been out the ring now for 8 months and he's back. But, he will come to fight. He always does, and he makes it ugly in there. But I really think that Kovalev probably knocks him out, and probably knocks him out pretty early. It's over in Russia. Kovalev hasn't fought in Russia. He's been fighting over in, the USA and Canada and that. He hasn't actually fought in Russia, I believe, since 2011. So it's going to be like 5 years, and it's a homecoming for him. So I think he's going to put on a show for those Russian fans that will come out to see him. And I bet it's a sold-out arena, just like he deserves. Seriously, one of the most, in my opinion, exciting fighters to watch in world boxing right now. Okay, so it's brilliant that Box Nation have picked that up. And we'll be speaking to Barry Jones very, very shortly, and he'll be telling us about that fight and a few other things. He's going to go right into his career when we speak to him, which I'm looking forward to in a couple of moments. Ayaz, what was the other piece of news?
Sky will be televising the heavyweight clash between Deontay Wilder and Chris Arreola in Birmingham, Alabama on July 16th.
July 16th, yeah, so only 5 days later. So it's good to see that 5 days between the two cards taking place on TV this week. Of course, for Box Nation, it's the Monday, and for Sky viewers, it is the Saturday. So both cards are going to be really good. I'm looking forward to the Arreola and Deontay Wilder fight. As I say, we're going to give that a full breakdown next week, but it's good that Sky have picked that up. It's quite late notice. I was hoping that we'd get to see that, but I didn't think anyone would pick it up because it's not, it's not a great fight. But like I say, we're going to go into that next week. But good piece of news there, and it's good for boxing fans that that subscribe to these channels. And there's going to be a lot to watch next week at home, so I'm excited for that. Okay, Ayaz, is that it for the news?
Yes, that's it for the news.
Okay, now it's time for the previewing. And as I said, there really isn't anything to preview. It's literally just the one fight between Kovalev and Chilemba. I mean, that's really it. There's not much else on that card. It's like, as I say, it's a Russian card. A lot of Russians fighting on it. I think every fighter is Russian, so it's one of those cards. It's not brilliant, but it's just got that good fight at the top of the bill. So Sergey Kovalev, 29-0 with the one draw. He puts his WBA Super World Light Heavyweight title, his IBF World Light Heavyweight title, and his WBO World Light Heavyweight title on the line over 12 rounds in the light heavyweight division, if you didn't guess, against Isaac Chilemba. 24 wins, 3 losses and 2 draws. I kind of gave my opinion on this fight when you told us that it was going to be showed on Box Nation a moment ago in the news segment. What's your opinions on this fight, Ayaz?
Oh, this is a very good fight, but I reckon it's a very easy win for Kovalev, and I reckon Kovalev will knock him out.
Yeah, I mean, how early would you say it? I know that I've spoke to Barry Jones recently, and I know that he was saying to me that he thinks that it's going to be probably in like around round 6. I actually think a lot earlier. I think maybe around about round 3. I don't know what you're thinking, Ayaz, because let's do a prediction on this, Ayaz, because I know that you're winning 1-0 with the Sean Porter thing. I'm gonna say Kovalev round 3.
I'm going round 3, same as you.
We gotta go. You got listen. You got to move for me. I moved for you the other time. You got to go round 4 or round 2.
Okay, I'll go round 5.
You go round 5. All right, you go round 5, and I'll go round 3. And if it's round 4, then we're stuffed. We only get a point each. But hopefully, I managed to get 1-1 with you on that leaderboard. There's no cheating on there, by the way.
No worries, no cheating.
Okay, well, that's it. It's time to wrap up part 2. As I said, there really hasn't been that much talking. It was nice to speak to Jamel Herring earlier. We're now going to welcome a good friend of mine, actually, Barry Jones. And of course, there's a lot of space to fill. It's been a really short show, and we're going to get him on, and he's going to do a lot of talking, which is exactly what this show needs. Otherwise, no one wants to listen for 25 minutes then just to tune out. They need a big hour or so, and I think Barry Jones is going to deliver just that. Okay, now it's time for guest number 2 on this week's show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former WBO super featherweight champion of the world, Mr. Barry Jones. Barry, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing, mate? You good?
Very good, man. Yourself?
Yeah, good, Joe. Over the moon, mate. Happy to be on. Excellent.
All right, the first thing I wanted to ask you, Barry, was, for the people that don't know, just tell us how your journey all began. I believe that you took up boxing at the age of 10. Walk us through the journey, please.
Yeah, I took up boxing at the age of 10. No, I always enjoyed boxing. Every council of a kid in Britain probably enjoyed watching boxing, but I didn't have no aspirations of being a boxer. I went because I had an older brother who was a pretty good boxer. He went, so I followed him, like a lot of younger brothers do, and I wasn't great at it to start off with. And what really attracted me to the sport was win or lose, you get a trophy. To be honest, when you're a kid, you do a whole season of football, rugby, whatever, any other sport, and you get a tiny little plaque, and in boxing, you would get a trophy which was about 4 inches at the time. I think they're even bigger nowadays. And then I lost my first fight, and I thought I'll have some of that. And then I went on and had a big run. I had about 10 wins after that, maybe, and yeah, so that was it. And once winning is addictive in anything in life, it's addictive, and that's what stuck me to it. And also, I was a hyperactive kid with who loved to train. I wasn't massively gifted at sports, but I was pretty good at every sport, that sort of thing. So I was playing every sport you could think of, and actually my favourite sport next to boxing is basketball, which is ironic because I'm a midget, I know. But I know this. I know. I've got a mirror. I can see how small I am. And so yeah, but basketball was my sport that I used to play all the time. And it was only when I started getting really good at boxing and we started winning Welsh titles and stuff that my trainer, wrongly to be honest, said you have to pick. You have to pick now. You're boxing or nothing. You have to pick boxing, or you don't bother boxing and just do other sports. You can't play any other sport apart from boxing because I was good, which was a terrible thing to say to like a 14-year-old kid. But that was it. I stopped doing sports at 14. Then all I did was boxing. So luckily my PE teacher in school was quite understanding. So I would play for the school sides, but when there was too much going on, then when I had like a fight coming up, he would let me have my own little time and do my own training in games time or PE time, whatever it would be. So yeah, I missed out on some sports, but I picked the right sport for me. I wasn't going to be a professional basketball player or a football player, and certainly not a rugby player. So basketball's not big in the UK, but no, it's a fantastic sport, and our sport could learn a lot from it as well. Put it this way, you get a giant. Well, actually, it's wrong now. Before you would get a giant 6'6", 6'8", and it would be robotic. It's Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder that broke the mold a little bit with that, but that's what basketball players. They're 6'9", 7 foot, and they're so athletic. They can do somersaults. It's amazing what they can do. So anyway, this is a boxing podcast, I presume, not a basketball podcast. Anyway, yeah.
I just want to ask you, just before you get into that, I do want to ask you. You said that you tried a lot of sports. Yeah. Did you ever give netball a try?
No, I never give netball a try.
I just wanted to clear that one up.
It's a female-only sport. It is, you know. I tried a few water sports, and I wasn't very good at them either. A little bit. That's a play on words there. I liked it like that. I was good, wasn't it? I'm not being rude, but like almost being rude. Yeah, okay, but I picked boxing, and then I started to win. I started to win titles, and I never lost the Welsh title as an amateur. I lost the British title as a schoolboy. I never actually lost it. I failed the medical, actually, the day of the British schoolboy finals. I was boxing a kid called Scott Dan, who's been to every schoolboy final and only lost to Nazim Hamid one year. So he probably would have beaten me anyway. Who knows? But yeah, I failed the medical. Who would know that in years to come that I would fail the medical again? This would ruin my career, as fate would have it. But yeah, that was it. So I carried on, and I was quite successful as an amateur. I wasn't the best, but I was pretty good, and I beat some good kids, and I won some good titles. And I won a silver medal in European Juniors, which now is nothing, but back then it was a pretty big deal. You know, back in 1992, and then I turned pro wrongly. To be honest, I should have waited for the Commonwealth Games in '94, but I didn't know. I had, you know, where I'm from, you want everything now, and it was I had some people around me who were telling me I was the best thing they've ever seen, and I turned pro at 18, which was too young, and that was it. Then I embarked on a professional career and won a few fights and lost one. I'm not going to say that's pretty much what it was. It was, you know, it's only my career, because the latter part of my career, if I'm not going too far ahead for you, just stop me whenever you need to stop me. But
no, go on.
The latter part of my career seems pretty much manufactured. You know, a kid who gets a world title fight don't really deserve it. That was my career. Before I go on, I love boxing more than I love my career. So I'm honest about my career, my titles, and what I've done, and what a lot of people have done. I don't belittle people's achievements, but I love the sport more than I love myself. So more than I love my career, I should say. So, you know, me being a world champion, I'm proud of it, and I got that belt, and it's mine forever, and that night could never be taken away from me until I lose my marbles. But the fact is, I was never good enough to be a world champion. If world champion was what it should be, what it used to be, and it's worse now. No, I'm a genuine world champion now compared to the titles I go nowadays. But even it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There's too many kids walking around saying they're world champions, and I'm one of them who shouldn't be. Listen, I was good enough to be a European champion, possibly, and I was definitely good enough to be a British champion. I'm sure of that. And that used to mean as much. That used to mean just as much. No, you got how many world champions you got nowadays, and nobody knows who they are. I was a world champion, and even my father can remember my name. You know what I mean? Like my grandfather calls me Joe. He doesn't call me Barry. You don't know.
Hey.
No, it's like, it's ridiculous. You know, a winnable title should be. You should be the. What? I'm saying you should be the very best, because sometimes people get lucky breaks, but you should be in the top 3, 4, or 5 at least in the world. Not the top 3, 4, or 5 in Britain, which is what happens, and what's happening more now. And we got 13 world champions or 12, and it's phenomenal. And you know, it's not. Listen, we're doing better than the other country. You know, that it's wrong. It's not how the sport should be. So the last part of my career was seen very manufactured, but actually the earlier part of my career was quite tough. I had a lot of hard learning fights. Like the first kid I boxed was undefeated in 3. And then I boxed a journeyman, Miguel Matthews, but he was the sort of journeyman who, at the time, I'm just guessing his record was something like 115, lost 30. So, you know, he won a few. You know, he would be, if you run into the mat, he would beat you, not just close shop. And then I boxed a kid called Michael Devaney, who went to the Olympics 4 years before, and went on to win a British title like 18 months after I beat him. Then I boxed a kid who only lost 1 fight, and that was my only stoppage, which somehow BoxRec could take it off me, but I don't care about that. I stopped in 1 round with a cut, but stoppage is a stoppage. And then I boxed a kid called Neil Swain, who was undefeated, 2 rounds, and he went on to win the Commonwealth title after I beat him, and that's the way it went on. Then I boxed another undefeated kid, and boxed Justin Murphy at a day's notice. He was like 10-11-0 to get a fight. It was a pretty steep learning curve then, and then obviously I couldn't get fights because I was obviously hard to beat, but I wasn't exciting to watch, and I was a good ticket seller back home in Cardiff, but I wasn't, I had no big promoter. I was a small time manager. I wasn't with Frank Warren at the time. But I was with Billy Aird, the ex-professional heavyweight, and Pat Thomas, who was a double British champion, was my trainer. And so we had no funding, I had no money, and then you had to go to people's backyards. I boxed on the Old Trafford Bill and Ben and Eubank, Trafford 93. Boxed the kid who was undefeated from Manchester. I went up there to get beat. That's what that was. That was a week's notice, which most boxers nowadays wouldn't take that. But a week's notice back when I was fighting was, for a 6-rounder, was plenty of notice. My world title fight was 3 weeks' notice, and all I kept thinking was, what am I going to do with the other week? I'll have a week off, then I'll start training. It was 3 weeks' notice was a luxury for me. But before that point, I never had more than 3 weeks' notice for a fight. I never had training camps, or all these people talk about training camps and how you prepare properly for a fight and making weights and stuff. And I never did any of that. I had the most unorthodox, almost backwards, Stone Age training mentality you'd ever heard of. For the first 3 years of my professional career, I never trained in a boxing gym. That's a true story. Now and again, I go to Swansea and spar with a couple of kids in their gym. That would be it. I would train in creches, squash courts, the back of leisure centres sometimes when we couldn't get a room, and that's how I trained. So the only time I get in an actual ring most of the time was on fight night, and so it held me back, but it sort of didn't. It steeled me mentally because nothing fazed me. I wasn't worried about the guy, some 28-year-old guy when I was 18, like spitting at me and telling me he's going to kill me, or going to Manchester and boxing our kids away from home, or taking the fight at a day's notice and against an undefeated kid, and none of these things bother me. It was just like, I'll do it. I don't give a shit. And it is what it is. I wasn't a tough kid on the surface. I couldn't punch to save my life, and I was a mover and a runner. But I think inside I was quite tough, because obviously where you grew up as well. I didn't grow up in the nicest of areas, so you have to be a little bit. If you weren't physically big, you have to be a little bit mentally tough and smart enough to sort of stay out of the way. So I was a quiet kid who wouldn't take any shit, I guess. I suppose in many ways, and that's why I took my career. I was a quiet kid, and I boxed like a quiet kid. I boxed on the move, didn't try and hurt anyone, didn't go for the kill. But when people tried to put it on me, I would show enough, I guess, balls to fire back to keep them away. And that was my concern. That was my career in a nutshell. I'm a jammy little bastard who won a world title he didn't deserve. And that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Barry, why? I've heard you talk a lot of times about your career, and I've never seen someone like bash themselves. Not in that way. I know the way you'll be thinking. Never seen anyone downplay themselves so much.
No, I know. It's obviously to be truthful, it's a defense mechanism, because I don't want people to criticize me, and I guess that's it. But also, like I said, I love my sport, and I honestly think, and in the world it can be said, but definitely in Britain, since the 90s, you can take at least 80% of our world champions and kick them and just relegate them to European level, and some of them down to British level. And I could be one of the worst kids who ever won a world title for Britain. I'm not saying I am or I'm not, but I'm nowhere near the top, obviously. I know Joe Calzaghe might, that's for sure. But listen, I was a good boxer, and I was good. I had lots of skills, and to be honest, if I was trained the right way, if I had proper training and was brought in properly and turned pro at the right time, I would have been a better fighter. And I say this, if you see every trainer I had thought I could punch. And if you see me go to the gym now, you wouldn't believe that I couldn't punch. I was never a puncher, but I can punch my weight. But I was always, like, the guy who had me my first gym pro, he had me do this stupid style, and it ruined and it messed me up. And then I stopped, I think 12 of my last 16 fights as an amateur. Mainly body shots, to be fair. That's on technique. But yeah, so I sort of put myself down, because I sort of, it should mean more. A world title should mean, listen, I love what I've done. I'm proud of myself in many ways, and I'm in the record books, and I'm happy with that. And you get opportunities, and you deserve, like Steve Robinson didn't deserve to be a world champion from Cardiff. I love him. Didn't deserve it. But then once he got it, he proved he was worthy by beating some fighters who on paper were 10 times better than him. So, he proved his worth in the end, and I never had the opportunity to do that. And maybe if I did have the opportunity to do that, I did produce the goods, then I wouldn't be saying what I'm saying now. But the fact is, I jumped the queue for other people. I jumped the queue of people who worked their way up the rankings, and it happens now. Even Lomachenko, he jumped the queue. He's a fantastic fighter, and he would have beat most people on his debut. But the fact is, he jumped the queue of people who worked their way up the rankings, and I don't think it's fair, and I certainly don't think it's right that British or European level or domestic level in any country can walk around saying you're world champion when it should be the best of the best. If I was I beat a good kid, I called Afi Dejalti, who was European champion. I beat him just before I got the world title fight. So I was beating good people. I'm not saying I wasn't good, but I like Wales now, and I like people who, like Greece when they win the European Championships in football, or people who win tournaments. They win, they beat people, and they get the opportunity, they qualify. But in boxing, you don't have a qualifying tournament. You don't have a qualifying criteria. You just go with the right guy. Before, those intercontinental title fights were meant to be sort of qualifying fights to get the opportunity to get near a world title level. Now, you have a WBC title, international title, or a IBF intercontinental title, and you get a world title fight straight away off the back of it. And I don't think it doesn't do our sport any good. That's why I say. That's why I have to put myself down before I can criticise other people, because I'm well aware that I can't criticise a guy who doesn't deserve a title shot when I'm that. I won a world title off the same way. I jumped the queue because I think Floyd Havard, I think, who from Swansea, was a good fighter. I think he got offered my world title fight originally because it was his weight. Super featherweight wasn't my weight. And he got offered the world title fight, and he turned it down because there wasn't enough notice, which he was probably right, because he would have had to have lost a lot of weight. But where I was naturally a featherweight, really, I was a super bantamweight, really. So super featherweight for me, I went to every weigh-in eating a Mazda. I never struggled to make the weight. So it was ridiculous. Which was fine, but then come fight night, then the following night, as I finally got against Alfredo Freitas, it was you see the size in them when they fill out. Then you're worried. But yeah, so that's why I put myself down, because I love boxing. It's been my life. It hasn't saved my life from. I wasn't going to be in prison or stuff like that. I wasn't one of those kids, but my life wouldn't have amounted to anything but medium. My whole life would have been medium. That's what it would have been. I have a job, kids, moved on, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I would have had no excitement in my life from boxing. It's taken me places and shown me things I would never seen before. And so I love it for that. It's been my life. Boxing's my first love. I'm like all first loves. You want to protect it, and it breaks your heart and all the rest of it. But you always want to go back to it, and that's what it is to me. I can't understand why I wouldn't want to say let's clean the sport up and let's get it right. And there's too many kids. There's kids who win the world titles now, and they haven't even boxed world level. There's world champions who are having multiple defences, and they haven't even boxed world level. And how can you call? It's not the kid's fault, maybe, because maybe it is, maybe I don't know. But how can you pat him on the back and say, "Oh, you're a world champion," when you're thinking, "Yeah, but you're not really." And that's what I was. I was a world champion. If you really was honest, you go, "Yeah, you done well. Congratulations." But was you the best in the world? Was you the top 4 in the world at the time? And I'd have to say no. I wasn't. I don't know what I'm going to say.
Well, listen,
all you can do, all I can do is be honest, and if it's putting myself down, I don't want to slate myself. I'm not saying I wouldn't have beat some good people. My first defence was Julian Lawsey, who was world class, and I'm sure I would have beat him, because styles make fights. I think my style was perfect to beat him. He could have stopped me maybe, but I think I was tougher than what people give me credit for. And I think I could have beat him then. Then I'm world class. Then I proved I'm world class. Then my first defence, rubber stamps my world title credentials. Then I wouldn't be ever putting myself down. If it wouldn't have been for the brain scan, I would have got that defence. And if he would have beat me, then I would have gone, well, I'd won a world title, but I wasn't ready. That's what it would have said. That's what I would have said. And if I was 23 with 18 fights, or 17 fights before I boxed the world title, so it was quite early for me, in age and fights wise. So, and that's what it would have been. But I never got that opportunity to prove I was world class, because I didn't know whether I was world class or not. That's the thing. we're talking about like Liam Smith boxing Canelo now, September the 17th. No, you can't give Liam Smith a hell of a chance. You can't give Liam Smith a chance to win this fight because you just go by what's been proven. Canelo, though he's had a lot of his fights have been, picked well, strategically placed in front of him, his opponents. He's beat world-class opposition, and Liam hasn't. So you have to go with what you know, which is Canelo is going to beat him. But Liam might prove that he belongs there. In defeats maybe, or in victory, I don't know. But, until he does it, you can't say that he can beat Canelo. You can't. I can't say you can say it. And, I don't want to upset the kid, but you have to be honest with yourself, and that's how I see it. And that's the same in my career. Until I beat a world-class fighter, how could you possibly say I was a worthy world champion? You couldn't. And that's how it is, and that's how it should be for everyone else.
Okay, well, listen. At the end of the day, I'm proud. I'm proud of you for winning that belt. At least you got me on your side, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Listen, no one's flags me. I've no one has to go at me. Because I'm not a braggart. No, I don't walk around. No, except for that. I know Prince Patel that bullied me one night. But apart from that, no one has to go at me. And I was a good fighter. I was better than most people. I believe that. But you got to be honest. I'm honest with myself. I was happy with what I did. I hit the jackpot, didn't I? Not financially, but I hit the jackpot. I achieved my lifetime ambition. So how can I be upset about that?
Absolutely.
Ever since I put a pair of gloves on, I want to be a world champion. Every boxer does. I was WBC welterweight champion of the world when I was 10 years of age in my mind because Sugar Ray Leonard was my idol. So I wanted to win what he won. I wanted to be WBC welterweight champion of the world. That's what I wanted to be. Ray Leonard, like that. I wanted to be that. I wanted to be the white, ginger, freckly, hairy-chested Sugar Ray Leonard. That was my ambition.
Now, I wanted to just talk because a lot of people know, a lot of people don't know. Obviously, the WBO stripped you and you had your license taken away for a period. Just in a nutshell, Can you explain how that went? Because obviously you was out the ring for a while, then you came back in and got another shot, which you said was against Freitas, and you come up short that night. But what was for the people that don't know, what happened, what happened for your license to be taken away, Barry?
Well, I've never failed a brain scan, but I had a change in my scan. And at the time, when you in British boxing, you used to have a CT scan when you turn professional, and that was it. But then after Michael Watson, they brought in MRI scans, which are like 10 times more detailed or whatever. They're more, you can see more. So in '97 was the first time every British boxer had to have MRI scan to go with your HIV tests and your eye tests and all your medicals, and that was the first time. So in 1998, I won my world title December '97. 1998 was the first year they had something to compare it with. So obviously, my scan had moved. It's anyone who got kids will know this. When in the centre of your skull at the front, there's a soft spot when the babies, and it joins, and it's two membranes, and they join together. But if they don't, one in 10 they believe don't actually join together, and that's called the cavum septum pellucidum. So I had the cavum septum pellucidum, which it could have been done from trauma, or it could have been born that way. But then from the scan from '97, so it was on the scan in '97, but the scan from '97 to '98, it moved by 0.2 of a millimeter, and they didn't know what it was. So they withheld my license, which is obviously initially is the perfect thing to do. The problem is, though, I went to see a brain surgeon, and he said to me, like one of the top ones in the country, and it cost me a few quid, to be fair, and he said to me, I can see what they're talking about, but in my professional opinion, you're under no more danger than any other boxer in the country. So I went to the boxing board with that information, and then their doctor, which was a Dr. Whiteson, I think his name was at the time, who's just a GP, which is compared to, he's not a brain surgeon, he's a jack of all trades in the medical industry, and he said no. But I said, I got a medical expert here, one of the top 3 or 4 in his field in the country, saying I'm under no more danger than any other boxer. It was like the appendix of the brain. They wasn't quite sure what it did. And then I don't go into massive details, but that was it. They stopped me from boxing. I obviously then appealed because I'm not intelligent, but I'm a safe enough guy. The way I boxed, I never fought in my face. I'm no hero. So if there was something wrong with me, if I was a chance I was going to be dead or something worse, or injured and for the rest of disabled, I wouldn't fight. I'm not like an idiot. But it wasn't that. At best they were telling me, I was saying, well, what's the worst case scenario? They said, you could suffer with increased senility in your later life. So I went, but that's a moral decision, not a medical decision. That's a moral decision, because every boxer who takes punches risks that. You risk that. You know the risk. You see old time boxers now who are not in the best of health, or they slur their words, or they're a little bit. The senility increases more in that they're not in best of shape as someone who hasn't boxed, for instance. That's what, more than not, that's what happens. That's because they're taking punches all their life. You take that risk to provide your family of a better quality of a younger life, and they said no, and they wouldn't have it. And so I said, I went back with a barrister, and within half an hour I got my license back. But that took about 18 months. I was out for a long time, and then obviously the WBO reinstated me as number one contender for my old title. But those sort of, like, that sort of 12 months that I was out of boxing, the super featherweight division was quite weak in the world. It wasn't mega weak, but there was no stars. But that 18 months out, it went from no stars to the WBA champion was Yoel Casamayor, Olympic champion, fabulous fighter. The IBF champion was Diego Corrales, phenomenal fighter. The WO champion was Ashley Freitas, who pound for pound biggest punch in the world at that time. And the WBC champion was a young Floyd Mayweather. So who am I going to beat other than them? It was literally who's going to beat me at the least. That's what it was. Picking, if I would have a choice who to fight, I would have picked Freitas, because I thought he could be outboxed. If he hits you, he hurts you. But I'm not going to outbox Casamayor. He's going to outbox me and beat me up. Corrales, I can't outbox a 6-foot super featherweight. He's going to knock me out. And Mayweather would absolutely, just make me cry, wouldn't he? I'd be in the middle of the ring, crying my eyes out. So Freitas was, I didn't have a choice. But if I had a choice, I would have picked Freitas. But I knew he was powerful. But I said before the fight, I was always honest. People said, well, what, you worried about his power? I went, well, of course I am. I'm not stupid. I said, but I think you're going to get on with the fight. I said, well, the first big punch he hits me with, if I'm still on my feet, he won't beat me. That's it. He's not going to outbox me, because that's what I do. So if the first big punch he hits me with, if I'm on my feet, he can't beat me. And the first big punch he hit me with, he put me down with. So I had it spot on. I was spot on. I was already a good pundit, and I was boxing. I could literally commentate on my own fucking career.
Now, Barry, I wanted to ask you this because I don't know. Go on.
No, go on, please.
I wanted to ask you this because I don't know too much about the stats and stuff like that. But has anyone else ever won a world title and retired without picking up like a stoppage win on paper? I know that you got that one took away from you.
Yeah, I did took away. I don't know why. Because if they're taking away cuts, well, a lot of Ricky Hatton fights these one fights with cuts. People won fights with cuts and let it go on. I don't understand that. Why would you take that away from me? I think I probably got the worst. I don't know. I don't think so. I think it might be the worst, actually, to be fair. Which is I'm on my own now. I'm in my own little group.
I think that's quite impressive.
I was so good. I was so good / bad. Well, what it did, it proved I couldn't punch. Yeah, I couldn't punch. I could punch my weight, but I was always moving away. And I had no confidence. You see a few people. I've dropped a few people throughout my career. Freitas was one of them. But I've dropped a few other people, and who, obviously on Sky at the time, they just said, because they didn't really know, they didn't know much about me. I'd been on Sky a few times before. They didn't know much about me. They just said, Freitas was the first person I've ever dropped, but it wasn't. I dropped a few kids, but then what I would do then, because of my training from my early stage of my career, I never had no learning fights. They were all competitive fights. And the way the guy trained me, the way he had me, wanted me dancing around like Muhammad Ali, and it didn't work for me. I didn't have the skill to do that, and I didn't certainly have the physical attributes to do that. I was different. I used to be, as an amateur, I was always a mover, but I was like an aggressive counter puncher. So I would be in and out, but I'd always be on you because my engine was tremendous as an amateur. I mean, really brilliant. I was so fit. So I'd be on you, away, on you, half step in, half step out, and throwing fast punches. Then I'd stop, I'd unload a few heavy shots, and I'd move again. But I was always about self-preservation. That's the way I was. Most of us pretty boys are. And then, I know that's a joke, by the way. I know I'm not pretty. But, and I guess, and then obviously, the being trained the way that I wasn't comfortable, I lost confidence in holding my feet. So you just stick to what you know. What was winning me fights was my footwork, was my movement. So I just stuck with that. And then obviously you don't try and, even the world title fight, I caught it with a right hand. I could see him hurt, and I wouldn't go in for the kill. A world title fight now, the biggest fight of your life, and I wouldn't go in for the kill. And I regret that, because I would have stopped that kid, because he wasn't great, to be honest. He could punch. He had the power. I could feel the power, but I could take a good shot. I'd never been on the floor in my life until Freitas. Which takes me to a very good bit of commentary from Glenn McCrory on Sky when I got put down I went down 6 times against Freitas in 8 rounds, which is a feat in itself, actually. Which is an absolute slaughter, really. You got to question the referee, and also you got to question my father in the corner. Why didn't he throw the foul in earlier? You know what I mean? We did have a row the day before, and I wonder whether he should play six on my own man. No. But I think I went down about 4 times, and Ian Dark said, and Barry Jones never on the floor in his life, and then Glenn McCauley said, but he's making up for it tonight, and I thought it was the funniest bit of commentary I've ever heard in my life. The one guy said, and Barry Jones never been on the floor in his life, and then McCauley said, but he's making up for it tonight. I said, thanks, Glenn. But he's true, I was. So I never been on the floor, man. So I knew I could take a punch. But you know what? That Freitas fight was... I took an absolute hiding. But that's actually the proudest moment in my career. That is. Because... Forget about... I had loads of excuses why I lost that fight. I never sparred before the fight because of the brain scan stuff. I was paranoid. Never sparred. I'd had one fight... I hadn't boxed for 18... I had one fight in almost 2 years. And that was 6 months prior. That was the 6th rounder against a mate of mine called Chris Williams. So I never really had no preparation for that fight. Plus, Freitas never made the weight. Anyone who was there will tell you, Ian Dark and they all, he never made the weight. I don't know how he got away with it, but he never made the weight. But I didn't make that excuse on the night after I got beat, because I knew in my heart he was beating me anyway. He was too good to me. So I didn't. So it was nice. I could lay that defeat to rest, because when you get beat by someone who's better than you, you know it and you accept it. If there's a guy you think you should beat and he beats you, and then you're disappointed. But I wasn't too much. But it was the proudest moment of my life, because I never been on the floor in my life. I took an hiding, but I took it. Do you know what I mean? It's hard. I was prouder than that. Listen, winning the world title was my biggest achievement. But that, I went down 6 times. But I got up 6 times. And that sort of, that's done something to me, actually. That proved to myself that however good or bad I am at boxing, I'm not a shithouse. I may box like a shithouse. I may move, I'm on my feet dancing and throwing light punches and moving away and trying not to take any punches. But I proved in that fight that I'm not a shithouse. Even with the first left hook he hit me with in the first round, the second time he dropped me, it popped my rib out my cartilage. It was so much pain. And I went 8 rounds like that, in pain, constantly pain. I didn't know with the adrenaline, see, it wasn't like as bad as it would be, because I was hurt. I was getting dropped. It was pain. I was going to the floor. Because most of these shots, for body shots, I was dropping me. But I couldn't understand, because I wasn't winded. I couldn't understand what it was. Until obviously, after, then I was told that I'd done some really bad damage, and it could have been a lot worse, for me. But I was proud of myself. I took an idea and I took it, and I got up and I tried to fight back, and I just wasn't good enough. What are you going to do? It's too big for me.
Yeah. Well, it's good.
He come up the 8th round. He went to touch gloves with me. And I went, "What are you doing? It's not the last round." And he went, "It is for you."
Wow, I didn't know that.
I made that up.
You made that up, Barry. No, it's good to hear you sort of finish off, that little segment there with a bit of positivity.
Yeah.
Because
I know.
You bash yourself all the time, man. You're too harsh on yourself, in my opinion, Barry.
I'm proud of what I did. I taught my amateur career. I love my amateur career, and I love boxing. But that fight, I loved that fight in many ways. I wish I could have done things differently, and maybe this and maybe that. But everyone has that. Nothing's perfect. But yeah, I stood up when I had to, or when I could. But I took an idea against a guy who was too big for me, by the way, because I was never a super featherweight. Too big, too skillful, faster than me. He had everything I had, plus everything I didn't have. Well, what the it's like he turns up with a gun, I turns up with a pea shooter. That's what it was like. But he loved me for that. And every time I've seen him since, I've seen him like 3 times since, he loves me for this. Because that was his first test. I know I dropped him. It didn't really hurt him. It was just a clean shot. But he was so tight on the weight that he went so out the back of me. For the first 3 rounds, I was down 4 times in 3 rounds. It's a good fight, really, because there's 5 knockdowns in the first 3 rounds. It could, in that respect, I put him down in 20 seconds. You know you're going to get beat. When you drop somebody, but you still lose that round by 2 points, how can that happen? I dropped him. I never dropped him. And then I still lose that round by 2 points. You know things are against you, but no, it was his biggest test because it was a hard fight for him because I wouldn't go. I was like a irritating little like disease where I just wouldn't go away. He's like, he must be, and he was blowing up his ass. He was in the last round, and so in the 7th round before he stopped me in the 8th, he was spent. Because he tried so hard, he was tight on the weight. Remember, he's a Brazilian. He was too big for the weight anyway, really. And he's over in the UK then in January. It was snowing, for God's sake. It was freezing. And he's trying to lose weight, and he's struggling for weight and all the rest of it. And he was, because the day before the fight, he was like a dead man walking, going to the scales. Honest to God, he looked ill. This is before they would check weight and all that. He was ill, but he'd come fight night. He looked like he'd been pumped up with a balloon, like with a pump. He was massive. He took his top off when he got into the ring, and me and my father started laughing from nerves. He looked like a welterweight. I went. Look at the size. I was going. Look at the size of him, Dad. Look at that. I can't fight that. I didn't hear the corner saying this. I can't fight that. Look at the size of him. Obviously we're joking, but I was never. I took boxing serious, but I didn't have to get in that. I wasn't one of those fighters had to get in that zone because I wasn't aggressive. I wasn't going up to bash everyone up. I didn't have to be. I have to be relaxed, because for my boxer, I have to be relaxed, and being relaxed was joking rounds. That's what made me relax. So in the changing rooms for fights, I would always have to be laughing and joking, and I'd be nervous, of course, and it was obviously a mechanism not for the nerves to overwhelm me, But most of the times for most of my fights, I'd have to be dragged back in the changing room because they would go, "Where's Barry?" I don't know where he is. So I'd have my gloves on and I'd be off in the crowd talking to my friends. Where's Barry? Or back at the back of the stalls where they used to have the little bars with a serving when you couldn't take drinks in. I'd be back there talking to my mates with all my gear on. Like I'd be fighting in half an hour, and then my trainer would go, "What are you doing? Get it? You got to warm up." I go, "Yeah, I'd be warming up all day. I'd be stretching. I'd always keep moving. I'm loose, son, I wouldn't one of these fighters just sit in the changing room and get into the zone of like some fighters have to do, and maybe I would have been a better fighter if I would have done that. Would have took it serious for 10 minutes. But that's what it was back then. It was all just bizarre. My whole career was mad. I used to have to. I've had to drive the minibus home where all my mates got drunk and they couldn't. So I fought and drove the minibus home. I've been left behind in the middle of Wales after a pro fight. I've had to hitchhike home with my cash. I got paid cash, £750 I got cash in my pocket. That's what I got for a 6 rounder back then. My dressing gown on my shoulder, my bag and my run. I got left in bloody Tylerstown. I'm hitchhiking back on my own. That was my career. No glitz and glamour.
What a career though. But do you know that you're the 3rd person who's retired and we've gone over their career. So you've just joined the list with the other 2. Remember, we haven't been going for too long, but Larry Holmes did it and Michael Spinks did it, and now you've just joined that list, Barry.
What, list for what?
The list for going over your whole career, from like the start to the finish.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Oh, theirs must have been, but theirs, especially Witherspoon's career, was massive.
Not Witherspoon's, Michael Spinks and Larry Holmes.
Oh, Larry Holmes, oh, bloody hell.
Yep, so you're on that list. You're on that list with those 2. Michael Spinks was on the show a couple of weeks back.
I'm a little bit better than them, right?
No, obviously. I mean, that goes without saying. That bit. Okay, listen, Barry, I want to get your opinion on a few upcoming fights. I want to get your expert opinion. It was announced yesterday that Box Nation have just picked up the Kovalev versus Chilemba fight. How do you see that one going, Barry?
I think it's an awkward fight because Chilemba's a nuisance, but he stops Chilemba, and I think Chilemba might see the 6th round if he's lucky, but I don't see it going much further than that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't. I think Kovale's got
neither.
everything and a little bit more. Yeah, his distance and timing, and he slides in and out. He's too good. He's too good. He's got to do very well because Andre Ward's, that fight's November now, and I think that's signed. I think for 19th of November, if what I'm hearing is true, and I find that a very hard fight to pick.
Yeah,
But
me too.
I've seen Andre Ward close up, and the little movement. I talk about in the comedy sometimes. The little movement you almost wouldn't notice. When you're just watching the fight to enjoy it, you just see the obvious skill things. He makes little adjustments with his feet, with his distance. You almost wouldn't notice what he does. He's so clever, Andre Ward. So clever that he can maybe be clever enough to just take the sting out of the punches of Kovalev.
Yeah, that would be a good fight.
Because it's hard to pick him a better fight, I think. But to pick a winner, that's for me is the most evenly matched fight you could possibly get.
Yeah.
Right now in boxing, for me.
Yeah. You're probably right.
That's
and also a really
some people think Kovalev. Yes, go on.
No, go on. Finish off.
No, go on. I'll talk all day otherwise as you're finding out, mate. Please.
And a really bizarre card. If anyone 2 years ago would have predicted that Rigondeaux would be fighting in Cardiff, Wales, you'd think they were crazy, but it's actually happening on July the 16th. How good is that for Welsh boxing, Barry, getting to see a genuine pound-for-pound great? And how much yourself are you looking forward to the whole card?
I'm great. I can't wait, because when he was due to fight in Liverpool, I couldn't make it. I wasn't going to be I didn't work on that show in Liverpool, and I was so happy he didn't fight on that, because he's just a fabulous fighter to watch. And listen, he's been in some stinkers and he lets himself down, but when he's on form, he's beautiful to watch. And I think it's great for Welsh boxing. This show now in 16th of July is very important for Welsh boxing, because there hasn't been. I know there was Lee Haskins boxed there recently, but there hasn't been a big Welsh show with a Welsh headliner, which it was originally with Liam Williams, since 2013, really. Oh no, maybe there was. Sky had a show, didn't he, with Selby on there, and Gavin Rees was boxing Gary Buckland, sorry. But the Wales is a hard sell, always has been. I don't know why, it always has been a hard sell for big promoters. So I've been telling everyone I know that, listen, buy a ticket for this Welsh show, because it's a good show on paper, it's a stacked card, but if it don't sell out, Frank Warren won't go back there again. He's been burned too many times. Go in there. You've had some fantastic nights there as well. But he's had some. In recent years, it's been nothing but blowouts, and also for Eddie Hearn, he's had some blowouts there as well. So, if you don't sell, if it doesn't produce the crowds, they won't go. And now, because I'm a Welsh guy, so I want Welsh boxing to succeed above every other. Obviously, I'm patriotic about my sports, my countrymen in sports, and so I wanted to be successful. I wanted to be a packed crowd. And Liam Williams, Gary Corcoran is a great. It was meant to be the top of the bill, but crowd-wise, it's the top of the bill. Obviously, not for TV-wise, because Rigondeaux is and Jazza Dickens is a world title fight. But the Williams Corcoran fight is a fabulous fight on paper. It's a genuine grudge match, because these are two kids who have engineered a row accidentally on Twitter. They're not kids who would do that. They're not that. Not, I would say quick-witted, but they're not those sort of kids. They're proper normal guys where they got a problem with you, they tell you to your face, but they've had to do it through over Twitter, which has probably driven them both mad, because they're both the sort of fellas who would go, "What are you looking at?" And do you want to go outside? Come on in. And they do that. That's what they would do. Not all this back and forth banter, whatever they call it, that banter, that weird word they use. That's what's happened. So and you see the press conference, they wound each other up, and they won it. And so I think it makes it a really intriguing fight. Listen, Williams starts a favour because he's a champion, and he's probably technically a better fighter than Corcoran. But Gary's tough, and he's proved he's a better boxer than what people give him credit for. So I think it makes it'd be a hard fight, and maybe it won't be fight of the year, because I think Conlon, the last Jamie Conlon fight, is going to be hard to beat for me.
Oh, that was a good fight. Yeah, that was a good fight.
Something else, wasn't it?
That was quality, that fight.
Yeah, for British boxing, that Rigondeaux in Britain is just it's just tremendous. It really is. I just hope I hope he turns out, because Cubans are very temperamental, and they can be fabulous, and then they can be utter garbage. And literally that just depends on how they feel on the day.
Will that be
Sorry, go on.
the best fighter that you've commentated on?
Well, live?
Yeah.
Or just full stop? I don't know. It's hard to say. So you got to try and think back because there's so many fights. So it's hard to think. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I'm forgetting you've done Lomachenko and a few others like that, of course. On
Lomachenko,
yeah.
Mayweather's. You know, he's been something special, and it's hard to think. But technically, he's up there, isn't he? He might be. You know, he might be. I don't know. He's something else. I can't wait to see him. I'm excited. He'll be the best fight I've done over here. That's for sure. By a million miles. There's no shame in that. Though Kovalev was pretty good. Mind you, we had him over here, didn't we? Picking up Nathan Cleverly, yeah. But yeah, so I can't wait to see him. I tell you that much, Ruben. I hope he turns up with a purpose. But I almost hope he turns up in and it's rubbish. So I want Jazzy to win. He's British, of course, and he's a lovely kid, Jazzy Dickens. An absolutely fabulous kid. Just you couldn't pick a nicer fella. And for him to win this fight would just be, one of the upsets of, in a British ring. To be honest, I couldn't. As upsets go, it's hard to say it's up there with Curry and Flanagan. I know that was it. Or even Stacey and Jose Napoli. Because they were great, but them two on paper were better fighters than Jazzy Dickens. So when you sort of weigh it up, how good their opponents were, how good they were thought of, and no one gives Jazzy Dickens. I don't know what the bet is going to be with Jazzy Dickens, but he got to be one of the biggest underdogs you would find. So for him to win this fight, it would be one of the best wins by any British boxer. It would have to be.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, he's a nice guy. He's been on the show as well.
I'm not saying he's a better fighter than Scott Quigg. I'm not saying that Jazzy Dickens would beat Scott Quigg or he would beat Carl Frampton, because I don't think he would. No, right now or whatever. But if he beats Rigondeaux, that's a million times better than anyone that Frampton or Quigg have beat.
Yeah,
and that's the truth. That's the truth. You have to. If he beats him, I know Frampton's moved up and Quigg might be moving up now, but if they were super bantamweights now, you put Jazzy Dickens way above him. If he beats Redondo, you'd have to, wouldn't you? You'd have to say he's the best super bantamweight on the planet. Bam them.
Yeah, you'd have to. We'll have to wait and see though. But it is a good card. It is a good card. I hope it's a good. It is. I hope that there is a good turnout in Wales for it. The last fight I want to mention.
I heard something. There's only 500 tickets left. As I've heard. I don't know if that's true, but if that is true, that's good going.
Yeah, no, it is. Hopefully, I really do hope so. But the last boxing-related question I want to ask you: Fury Klitschko, obviously, it's been put off due to Fury's injury. I don't know when it's going to get rescheduled for, but what do you think about that fight?
They're talking about late October. They're talking about late October. Well, put it this way: the first fight, I didn't give Tyson Fury a hope in hell.
No one did.
I didn't think he had a chance. I thought you could be awkward. I couldn't even paint a scenario where you'd have any chance of winning. I thought once Klitschko just steps to the side or closes the gap, uses that front foot, gets him in the corner. Once he hits him, he hits him and he puts and then he stops him sometime. That's what I thought. And then he boxed great. Klitschko boxed terrible, but I think that's down to Fury. He boxed great. And Fury kept saying, Fury opens his mouth and just says whatever he wants to say. Sometimes he says, we don't know what he's going to say. He just opens his mouth and noise comes out. But he said, I'm in his head. He scares me. And Klitschko boxed like somebody was scared. So maybe Fury was right. I don't know. Maybe he is just the guy who intimidates him. I don't know. But I got to go with Fury this time. I can't. Listen, I think if Klitschko can't be any worse, for God's sake, he can't be any worse than he was that night. I think if Tyson trains right, and I think if he's in the right shape and in the right frame of mind, ability-wise, he's a fabulous move. I think his movement for the heavyweight is hard to handle because of his size as well. I got to go with him. Listen, I wouldn't be overly shocked if Klitschko just hit him with the right hand and put him to sleep either, to be fair. But for me, I go with the same sort of scenario. Maybe a bit tighter fight than the first. But I think Tyson's a little bit tougher than what people might think. He looks a bit vulnerable because he's so tall. When he gets hit, he looks sort of hurt worse than he is at times. And as far as being knocked down, you haven't been knocked. People over exaggerate how many times he's been on the floor. Every time he gets hit, he gets put down. That's not the case, you know. He gets hurt and he's big, so it looks more. And because he leans back with his chin up, it sometimes looks worse than it is at times when he gets hit. But I got to go with Fury. I really have.
Yeah, I hope so too. Right, that's it for the boxing questions, Barry. Just before I let you go, I wanted to ask you, how does it feel to be Welsh at the moment with Wales getting into the last 4 of the Euros, man?
Do you know what? It is something else. It really is. Like you can't explain it. It's just like happy to be there. For a start, there's 2 things I never thought I'd see in my lifetime, and that's Cardiff City, kind of Cardiff City, I've been Cardiff City, kind of from Cardiff, obviously, getting to the FA Cup final. That just blew my mind. Like, well, what? I couldn't. And Wales being in a major tournament, and this would have been. Like in 2004, I think it was Portugal. We almost qualified for Portugal. I was going. It was a few years there. I had even though I had a daughter, but I wasn't with her mother. I was pretty much a single guy. Pretty much, I had a girlfriend. I was a single guy, so I was going to go. Obviously now I got another family and I got a boy and a missus, so I can't just and a job. I've got a real job now, so I can't just up and leave. But I would have gone. This would have been 10 years. This would have been 2006. Now 2016, I would be over there right now. I'd say that for nothing. I'm not a hooligan and all. I'd never into that sort of stuff, but I would be over there. I would know if the group matches, I probably would have spent all my money by then and not being able to afford to be over there right now. But I would have gone over just to see it. And I looked at the fights for Leon on Wednesday, but I'm not going to go. I'm working. Well, I don't work every day, so when I work, I have to take it because the money's pretty good, So I just don't have to. I'm not Steve Bunce, I don't work every day. But so I work Wednesdays, so I got to work. Obviously, I got commitments, but I was thinking about driving out to Cardiff because they've got big screens there. But if we get to the final, I booked the hotel in Cardiff. I'm not going to go to Paris. It's unrealistic, but I wouldn't get a ticket anyway. So I booked the hotel to go and go back home to Cardiff because they'll be showing our fight with. I want to be with another 50, 60, 80,000 Welsh people watching that. I think that's. No, listen. We got a good chance against Portugal. I think we're going to miss Ramsey not more than we miss Bale, but he's been a better player for us than anyone. I think he's been exceptional. His engine, he's just been great. Adam Ramsey, and we'll miss him. But we're a good unit. Everyone knows their job, and they stick by it. I'm not a football expert by no means, and no stretch of imagination, but they look good. They look good against Belgium. I fancied to beat Belgium until just before the match, and then they give their lineup of players, and I forgot how many quality world class players Belgium had, and then I was shitting myself, and then for the first 20 minutes of the match, 10-15 minutes of the match, I'm shitting myself more, thinking this is going to be I thought it was going to be like Iceland and France. That's what I thought it was going to end up like. I thought we're going to get amateur now. It's going to be we've done so well to get there. That would have been enough, but it's going to be humiliating defeat. And listen, and because of what we are, because we don't have the strength and depth of other teams like say France does, we could get to the final. We could get beat 10-0 in the final. We could, or we could win it 2-1. Like we did the other day. I think it's like that. And we surpassed ourselves in a team unit, and they're just they're playing like Welsh people. Like they say about Welsh boxers. We never had loads of quality in the interviews and stuff. We had a few good ones like Colin Jones, my idol. But it was like, they're tough, the Welsh, and like we're defending like the Welsh rugby team defends, bodies everywhere, and they're committed there. And if England had that sort of bond, they would piss this tournament. To be honest, I'm not an English fan. I'm not an English sports fan. I'm not anti-English either. If they had, because the quality they got on paper, England with this, if they had that same sort of unity that Wales have, who would beat them? I couldn't see it. But we have that. We have some respect, and maybe we have that unity and that bond because we haven't got a band. We haven't got a team full of stars. We got one star. I know Ramsey should be a star, but we got one star. We got one of the best players in the world, Gareth Bale. And we haven't. I know he's like one of the top goal scorers, but he haven't set the tone with the light as such. But he's taken 3 players with him. Maybe he ties his laces up, and he got 2 players around him. Everyone should scared of him, so it gives a chance to some of our other players who are not nowhere near his level to do their job. Like, but what do I know about football? Fuck all. All I know is that I'll be wearing red tomorrow.
Yeah.
I put something on Twitter the other day. This is for the quarter final against Belgium. I said this is the biggest day in British football history, and I got absolutely slaughtered. People going, "What's going? You never hear the '66?" I'm going, "Nah, the '66 was never really happened. Like the moon landing, they engineered it."
Yeah, I see you've been getting a bit lemon on Twitter lately, Barry.
Yeah, I never know. This is from a guy I wouldn't go on it before. My employers asked me to go on it, and I kept saying no. So I'm not going on that stuff. It's for kids. First of all, I said it's for kids. It's for kids, that Twitter. What am I going for? What am I, following a pop band around? I didn't understand what it was for, Twitter. And then I
become addicted.
And then I said, well, the first person who strikes me off, I'm off it because I can't take it. Because again, I'm from, like most of us, we haven't all grown up in where I'm from. Someone calls you a name, you just call them a name, and then you go, come on then, and you have a fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what it is, isn't it? I don't know. Twitter, they argue all day. No, literally, I mean, you're my size, by the way. You have fights when you're going to get beat when you're small. You know what I mean? You can't go beating everyone up. And I'm not one of these fellas who goes, yeah, well, let's have it then. When I was younger, because I could beat everyone up, I couldn't beat anyone up. I was too small.
Yeah.
I know, but I say to people, come on, let's go outside and I'll beat you on points. I can't fucking knock you out. I was after taking all your podcast up. I was fucking 3 hours now, wasn't it?
I tell you, Barry. This week I was quite worried because I was thinking there's not really, because what we do is we talk about the fights that happened last weekend and the fights that are coming up this weekend. There's nothing on this week. There's barely anything to talk about. I thought it's only going to be a 20-minute show, but you've actually this is the longest interview I've ever done.
Well, there you go. I've done one for 2 hours once with Ingram Jones.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Well, I knew Ingram from used to live in Cardiff and train with me years ago. So we were after the interview. We just thought, remember we used to do this? Remember we did that?
Excellent stuff.
But it's saying, well, I have a podcast, don't I? So as well, I'm not going to advertise because it's not fair. But there'll be ads for us now. Me and Punchy tomorrow will be ads for us to nothing to talk about. Nothing. It's obviously the Fury fight, but we will talk about these super professional boxers now who are in this tournament in Venezuela. Amnet's run around, whatever his fucking name is, the former flyweight champion of the world. He's got through to the semi-final, I think. And Hassan Ndam, who lost to Peter Quillin for the WBO title. He's also is in this tournament to go to the Olympics.
Oh wow. He's got a fight coming. I think it's 16th. No, I'm sure he has.
He might have, but he's entered this tournament. He's in this tournament at light heavy.
Oh wow!
And obviously, he can't enter at middleweight because I don't know if there's any spaces left. But also, if they did qualify for the Olympics, they got to make their weight before every fight. So they could have 5 fights in sort of 10 days. Well, he can't make middleweight, can he? Like 5 times in 10 days. So and the other kid, the room. And that's run wrong. I can't say it. You have to look it up. I can't say it. I've commentated on 2 of his fights, and I still can't say his name. He's a flyweight. I think he's gone in at welterweight or something like that. So it's disgusting. I hate it. All that, these pros boxing amateur, and it ruins the sport. Even like the WSB and all that. They're brilliant tournaments, and they're great for these kids to earn money. But it's killing our sport from the inside out. Amateur boxing was always a constant. You win the ABA, you box for your country, and things like that. You knew what was what. And we're thanks to the academy in Sheffield, we got some. How successful are we now in Great Britain for amateurs? We're doing so well. We're one of the best countries out there. It's tremendous and it's great. But all these WSB stuff, which is brilliant to watch. WSB is such a great tournament to watch. It really is. I'd recommend it for anyone. When the British Lionhearts in the New York Hall, you've got to go and watch it. I tell everyone that. It's like seeing world-class amateur boxers who turn pro, boxing other world-class amateur boxers who turn pro. You'd never see it anywhere else. And over 5 rounds it is, with no vests, and it's proper fighting. But it's so fractions the sport. Professional boxing has always been the one that like a jumble sale. We don't know who's the world champion and how many titles they had and who's the super champions now, WBA got 3 champions in weight and all this shit. But to be amateur boxing, you knew what you had there, but now you don't know what you got anymore. I don't know if you amateur, you pro, you APB, you were 10 rounds, but you still go to the Olympics. You WSB, you were 5 rounds, and you turn pro, you do 4 rounds. That don't make any sense.
The game has changed a lot. Okay, Barry, listen. I'd like to thank you.
I got hours. So
I can't. Congratulations.
I had my second fight when I was 10. I remember that. Dominic Ahern. Dominic Ahern from Grange Castle. He's from Grange, Bron kid. Yeah. And I threw a left hook and I missed that. Sorry, mate.
All right, Barry, listen, congratulations on becoming the longest interview we've done. I can't even remember who's second. No one's come close to an hour anyway, but it's been an hour with Barry Jones. Listen, like I say, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Listen, you've done me a big favour. You've filled in a lot of space this week. Thank you for giving us a bit of time, and it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. You're my
mate, didn't you? What am I going to do? Say no to you?
Exactly. That's what it was like. It was quiet. Sometimes I get a little bit nervous before an interview. No nerves whatsoever. It's my good old mate, Barry Jones.
Yeah, man. I'll see you soon, Joe. I'll see you on the next one. See you on the next show, mate.
Take it easy, yeah?
Nice one, pal.
Okay, now it's time to conclude episode 40 of the BoxHard Podcast. I've been your host, Joey Coastman. Ayaz Sumra has been Ayaz Sumra. A massive thank you to our 2 guests on this week's show, as always, really. Jamel Herring, it's always a pleasure to speak with him, a true gentleman. And I'm really happy to hear that he's in good spirits after his defeat over the weekend. I was gutted for him, but he sounds like he's in a good place, and that's the important thing. And I know that he will come back, bigger and better than before, and I cannot wait for that. So thank you very much to Jamel Herring, and also to Barry Jones. We were struggling. We didn't know what we were going to do. It was only a short review. The part 1 was really short. We done the Jamel Herring interview. Part 2, there wasn't too much to preview. We done the other little segments that we do on this show now, and we were thinking, gosh, we really need someone to come on and talk quite a bit, and Barry Jones come and delivered, so I'm very happy about that. He talked about a lot of stuff in his career, a lot of deep stuff, a lot of stuff that a lot of people wouldn't have known, and it was a real pleasure hearing all that from Barry Jones. Of course, again, another true gentleman. This show this week has really featured nothing but gentlemen. Barry Jones, one of the nicest guys in boxing. I've said it for a long, long time. And Jamel Herring, a real nice guy from over in the States. So it's been a pleasure bringing you this show this week. It's been filled with a lot of love. And again, if you want to reach out to us on Twitter, you can find us on Twitter at BoxHard Podcast. We'll be back next week with another big show. As always, thank you for listening once again, and we'll see you next week.